such a time as this.
And welcome to For Such a Time as This, the podcast. I am your host, Pastor James Pittman, here with our resident scholar, Abigail Ruth.
Please stop saying that.
Well, it's my show, it's what I think. So we're here to discuss an article written by Christian apologist Eric Manning. And Abby, why don't you go ahead and describe this article, which is up on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook for such a time as this. Eric Manning, this article that is profound. Go ahead.
Well,
Abby.
this article caught my eye, and I actually thought it was really good. Every so often you read something that it makes you see something in a different way. And the name of the article is actually The Gospel of Meh. Why Apathyism is more dangerous to the Christian faith than atheism or other competing views. And in case you're wondering, meh is spelled M-E-H. Mm. And so he's talking about apathyism. I have to put the accent in the right place. Mm. Being apathetic with regard to the gospel, not caring one way or another. Mm. And haven't we all run into this when trying to witness to friends and family and others?
Yeah, usually it's not great profound. Well, never is it great profound logic against the Christian faith. No. It's your God, my God. Meh.
Who cares?
Yeah,
it's basically who cares? What difference does it make to my life? Yeah. I've got other concerns. Yeah. And so anyway, he goes on and he says, the term apathyism was actually coined by a writer in the Atlantic magazine, and here's the quote. He says, "I used to call myself an atheist, and I still don't believe in God, but the larger truth is that it has been years since I really cared one way or another. That was when it hit me, an apathyist." So that's where the term comes from.
You just don't care.
Exactly. I've had people tell me, it just doesn't really do anything for me.
Doesn't do the God of the universe.
And I think this comes in large part because the whole idea of truth has been so corrupted. Yeah. And people don't even think about Christianity in terms of whether or not it's true or false. Everything is now just true for me or true for you, or it's not true for me. The whole thing has been corrupted, the way we think about it.
In the article, he goes ahead and he quotes Matthew 22, 1 through 6. Jesus spoke again in parables. The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who made a marriage feast for his sons, sent out his servants, called those who were invited in the marriage feast, but they would not come. Again, he sent out other servants, saying, "Tell those who are invited, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My cattle and my fatling are killed, and all things are ready. Come to the marriage feast." But they made light of it and went their ways, one to his own farm, another to his merchandise. And so God is using the parable to communicate the spiritual reality that God has given an invitation. And look at this world that's just completely falling down around our ears. It seems like people should be dying for a life raft, huh?
Yeah, but I think it's falling in the macro sense. I think it hasn't hit a lot of people's front doorsteps yet.
You think so?
Well, at least the people I know. And when I read this, I had never actually. I've read this parable many, many times, but for the first time, it hit me that, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I encounter in my own family. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. God addresses this too. Mm-hmm, just the fact that they don't understand the importance of it. They don't understand what's being offered. They don't understand what the consequences are. Of course, there's unbelief there, but they're just shrugging their shoulders and saying, it really doesn't interest me.
And it's one thing for non-believers, those who don't know the Lord or know anything about the Lord, to have this apathy. But the apathy is not relegated simply to those outside the church, according to his article, correct?
Well, no, he actually finishes it up by saying that many people in the church, well, at least the visible church,
Yes.
are functional apatheists.
Mm.
The guy in the Atlantic article said this. He said, I have Christian friends who organize their lives around an intense and personal relationship with God, but who betray no sign of caring that I am an unrepentantly atheistic Jewish homosexual. They are exponents, at least, of the second, more important part of apathyism, the part that doesn't mind what other people think about God. Well, like you and I have said so many times before, I think the church is so full of tares these days that real Christians do care, because we do believe that heaven and hell are real. Yeah. And we don't want people to go to hell. So we do care, and that's on our mind all the time.
Yes. Yes. If you believe in a literal hell and a literal heaven, of course, how could you just not care? I mean, there's going to be a time, the Bible describes a time in which there will be the judgment room. Now, it must be a very big judgment room, because it seems as though we're going to be conscious. We're going to see loved ones, family members, friends. And if they're not covered in the blood, we're going to see them. And that should break your heart. I don't understand how someone can have the Spirit of God and not care. Just do not care. It must be a person who professes to be a believer but doesn't believe in the afterlife, which makes you a non-believer.
Yeah, I don't think that goes together. But Manning actually cites some sort of study that said that just 38% of self-proclaimed American evangelicals picked the option, quote, "It is very important for me personally to encourage non-Christians to trust in Jesus Christ as their Savior." Only 38%.
Which means 62% said, I can give a rip where they go for eternity. Is that what it's?
Yeah, that is the way I read it.
I don't think you can have the Spirit of God and have that attitude. But c'est la vie, c'est la vie. Apathy, people. The Church of Laodicea. That's in the article, right? The Church of Laodicea.
Yes, actually, that's the title of the last section of the article. And he wraps it up by saying, maybe our society's ambivalence is a reflection of the church's lukewarmness.
The visible church, right? Yes.
Right.
Yes. Unbelievable. People, for such a time as this, and if people look at that, our subtitle is what? There is no such thing as a silent witness. That if you truly are a believer, and if you truly have the love of God in your heart, you will care about the lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor James.
Thank you again for being with us for such a time as this. We'll catch you next week as we explore another topic with our resident scholar, Abigail Ruth. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
For such a time as this.